approximately 3 weeks ago, I called a $30,000 move on Bitcoin. Now, did I expect it to go this high this fast? No, but did I expect it to go up in the next couple months or so? Yes. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining how I can predict this move and how you can predict the next future move of Bitcoin or maybe any other stock, future index, whatever you want to call it. So here's my Instagram. Here's one of the videos I made weeks ago. It was 4 weeks ago. And again, just listen to what I have to say in this video. This video is for all my crypto bros. Now, this is definitely the video you want to hear because you're about to be really happy after what I'm about to say. But yeah, let's get into it. So Bitcoin right now has this is the daily time frame. It has a daily fair value gap that's bearish right here. This is daily bearish fair value gap. And I just want to say, this is about to rip if this gets closed above. If I'm right and we rip, come back to this tweet or come back to this video, give me a follow because I know I'm probably going to be right. Now, how do I know this? Well, this is a giant trend line. It's giant trend line liquidity. There's stops over every single one of these highs. And when this order flow that's technically bearish right now breaks to the upside and we close above this daily gap, I bet you we're going to get a giant massive candle because we have equal highs above. You know, we have equal highs sitting right here. See these? See, it's like a double top, which retail traders short this, so they're going to have their stop losses above there. And we're going to rip and take everyone's heads off. I've literally seen this a million different times in a million different stocks and a million different futures contracts. And again, I promise if you come back to this video and you see exactly what I'm talking about, oh, you owe me a follow. And again, this is literally what I teach, and this is my day trading model in the 1 minute time frame in NQ, except we're actually just seeing in the daily right now. So I'll update this video in a couple weeks, let you guys know what happens. So you can see there was the proof of me calling it, okay? Hopefully if you did like that, drop a subscription because I was right. So make sure to sub and turn on post notifications. But basically what I was saying is there's a bunch of stop losses here and there's a daily IFG, but you're probably like, oh, what does that mean? Okay, let me explain. So if I just type in trendline stock market on Google, okay, trendline stock market, and go to images, what always usually happens when you see a trend line? Okay, let me just spell this right, just so it gives me more search results. Usually what happens is a trend line right here usually ends up getting broken, okay? So you can kind of see, this is a better example, but this little trend line usually ends up getting broken. Now, you're probably like, oh, he's a pattern trader, okay? But no, it goes a lot more in depth than that, okay? Obviously, when I call this long, there's a lot of other things I was looking at. So the one thing I was looking at really was the weekly time frame. And the weekly time frame, you could tell that months ago when we came back down, okay, to me, this right here was a smart money reversal, okay? Now, let me just explain why. Now, this to me is a smart money reversal because when you see a bearish fair value gap and then a bullish fair value gap just completely wrecked down and up, this is institutional order flow reversing. Okay, so there's a big difference between when you see this versus something like this. See how this goes up and then down. You're like, oh, well, shouldn't we dump now? But no, these aren't fair value. This isn't a fair value gap up and then a fair value gap back through it. Here we have a fair value gap down and then a fair value gap. Give me 1 second. Here we have a fair value gap down, okay, as circled, and then we have a fair value gap back up, okay, and that becomes our support. So because we retraced that much, that just to me was super bullish. So here's all your smart money accumulation. Now the next thing I was looking at is this weekly fair value gap. Now if you look at this weekly fair value gap, I want you to make some observations. Pause the video, look at this fair value gap, make some observations, write them down, and let me know what you think. Now that you pause the video, okay, I'm going to tell you my observations. So my observations was this. The fact that we kept wicking in the fair value gap here, but the bodies would never, ever close below it was a super, super bullish signature and price for me. So we obviously have a fair value gap here. We kept wicking into it, wick into it, wick into it, wick into this. And the fact that all the bodies of the candles are holding it, that is a very bullish sign of price that I like to see it on anything I'm trading. For example, if it's Tesla, for example, if it's bonds, anything I'm looking at, that's always a good signature in price. Now that Now let's go back to the daily now. So because we were holding on the weekly and we look in the daily, I liked this daily fair value gap, and I like this trend line or this buildup of liquidity, because whenever we form a big trend line like this, it always creates like this domino effect. So when we run this high, we'll run this high, then we'll run this high, and then we'll run this high, and so on. Okay, so it creates this domino effect, and it's very, very textbook. So when we ran this first high, I figured, okay, we're going to create a domino effect. We're going to go all the way back up, and then we're just going to keep pumping. Okay, now the other thing I liked was this. See how we have the bearish fair value gap here, and then it just gets completely wrecked. Now, not only does it get wrecked, but this is an institutional candle. A lot of people are like, oh, why wouldn't you use something like, I don't know, maybe something like, where can I find an example? They're probably like, oh, why wouldn't you use something like this, you know? Or that doesn't make, okay. There's a lot more to this model, guys, that I can't teach in this video. You just have to watch my other YouTube videos. But people are like, oh, why wouldn't you be bearish if we're going down here? Well, to be honest, I mean, none of this looks institutional. And we also have stop losses resting above here. We don't have stop loss resting down here. If we're holding this weekly fair value gap, well, then we don't have stop loss down here. Okay, we have stop losses at the highs because we're holding fair value gap and creating a downtrend at the same time. Anyways, to me, this looked institutional. We blasted above this bearish gap. This is where dumb money is going to reverse their orders. Keep in mind, smart money's already in. Dumb money reverses the orders there, and that gives us enough volume to just run all these stops. So that combined with holding the weekly fair value gap, blasting through this bearish fair value gap here, and the domino effect of running one high usually causes us to run all the other highs. That, to me, is why I bought Bitcoin and why I bought crypto, even though I never thought I'd buy it in my life, and why I've been able to predict this up movement. Now, this works in any time frame, any stock. This could work in the 5-second time frame. This could work in the monthly time frame. This could work on Tesla. This could work on bonds. This could work on penny stocks. This could work in any time frame. Okay, you just have to be willing enough to be patient and wait for something like this. Now, the other thing I liked too was I liked how he had like a little manipulation here too. And again, I don't know that's going to happen in a live time, but when you see it in hindsight, you know, okay, now I'm going to get in. This looks like a really good buy because of what happened in hindsight. So basically, that sums it up. That's how I predicted the move. Okay, held the weekly fair value gap, inverse the daily fair value gap here. And if you want to learn more about this, just go to my strategy playlist. You can learn about those. And then, yeah, really just a lot of stop losses to run. So that combined with Trump winning the election definitely helped. And if a comment says, oh, crypto is going to run regardless because of Trump. Yeah, it probably was, but I told you when it was going to run. That's the difference between you and me. You probably are down $50, $100 million trying to guess the bottom here. I told you when it was going to run, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions on how you can call a move like this, because I know you can. I guarantee you will be able to see this again and something else, okay? It might not be Bitcoin, it might be another time frame, but we're going to see something like this again, okay? I promise you, okay? Learn the signature and price. And yeah, that's really all I got for today. Don't forget, there is a discount code for code Apex Prop Firm. Do not trade a live capital when you're starting out. Code Dodgy, 80% off right now. Link in the description. Buy a 50K Trader beta account. And yeah, that's really all I got for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.